And hello YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of the Zone Timu Entertainment with me, your host Jonathan, once again bringing you my thoughts and review for today's episode of DC's Creature Commandos Season 1, Episode 7, the finale. So, that's right, this is the last episode of Creature Commandos for this season. I'm pretty sure we'll get more in the upcoming, maybe year or two, who knows. But maybe James Gunn's already working on it, we'll see. So, we all know that the Commandos literally have one mission now. They gotta take out the princess. They finally got behind enemy lines. You know, they gotta fight the Knights to get through them. Rick Flag is still in the hospital, knocked out unconscious and pretty much on a coma because of what happened with Clayface. Frankenstein still thinks he can get to his beloved and, you know, try to not only save her, but also impress her enough to be like, she'd be like, oh, I love you so much, Frank. You are my one and only, kind of thing. Well, not exactly. We also get to find out, like, is the princess a psychopath? Is she not a psychopath? Is she just kind of cuckoo in the head, but just kind of a normal one? All that here is answered. Spoiler alert coming up. So, let's talk about it. So, yeah, we also get to see the final backstory of the final member of the team, which was Nina, who's our fish girl. And right off the bat, that hits you hard, like literally hits you hard. She gets, you know, we get to see her birth, but unfortunately she's got a birth defect as in her lungs are literally outside of her chest. Her mother can't like look at her anymore. Her father, who's a scientist, he starts developing ways to find a way to keep her alive, you know, putting her in machines that can help her breathe and walk and, you know, be normal as much as he can. Her mother can't look at her, doesn't want her to be in pain. She ends up leaving, and then of course the doctor decides, you know what, it's time to upgrade your little machine that you've been using because you're a little happy little girl, you know, not a care in the world, you know, you don't really, you know, notice it that she's in pain, but you can just see that she's trying to, you know, be happy as a you know, kid with disabilities would be. But so the doctor, he eventually tries to have a new experiment on her, try to give her the powers of having maybe gills and maybe help her breathe a little bit more better, so she doesn't have to have her lungs literally in her chest anymore. Kind of backfires, but in a good way, where she ends up becoming scaly and how she is in the show now, and she can only breathe underwater, which, you know, that's why she has to have that suit on and the helmet to breathe. So she's able to wear that and, you know, for the most part become more happier. Father takes her to boarding school so she can interact with other children, and, you know, obviously kids, especially in a world where metahumans or, you know, even in the MCU, mutants exist, they're gonna be bullies. They're gonna be assholes, you know what I mean? So, we get to see Nina go through all that trauma, and then one day she gets pushed to the brink of like, listen, I can't do this anymore. I have to be who I have to be. And she leaves her father a note saying that I love you, thank you for saving my life, thank you for always being there for me. She dips, she takes off her armor thing that she's been wearing to keep her from breathing, you know, and, you know, on land with water. She goes into the water, which is, by the way, she's in Starling City, so that's cool. We also get a glimpse, an Easter egg kind of a thing of Bloodhaven, which is the home of the Titans, so Titans exist. So that was pretty cool. So she's either in Star City or Starling City, one or the other. She's either in Green Arrow's territory, or Flash's territory. One or the other. I can't remember which. Anyway, she's in one of those towns. So both those heroes both exist anyway. So anyway, she leaves. Unfortunately, we also get to see some, you know, conspiracy theories people out there saying that, oh, there's like some kind of mermaid creature out there in the ocean or in the lake. Somebody captures her in a photograph. People try to capture her so they can study her, figure out what the heck she is. Father finds out. He shows up to try to save her. Cops show up, capture her. He tries to intervene, like, hey, listen, you're my daughter. You weren't a burden to me. I love you. Cops try to get back because they think he's just a regular citizen. Maybe just outraged because, you know, animal rights and all that stuff, let them be free kind of people. The cops probably thought that, so who knows. He ends up getting past the cops. Cops end up shooting him. He ends up dying. She ends up in the Huskow. So, yeah. That's basically Nina's tragic but simple backstory that she has. Now back to modern time where we get to see them infiltrate the castle. Our beautiful princess is like, all those guys, they're out there. You guys are here protecting me. I'm going to go for a swim. She goes for a swim and she's just, doing her happy, I'm beautiful, I'm this and that, swim, And then, of course, the team's like, okay, we need to take her out now while she's vulnerable. Yeah, sure, she's got guards, but there's only one person who can get through them, and that's you, Nina. Nina has to literally swim towards her and try to kill her so they can go kill her and then leave and everything be fine. Fortunately, something happens where Nina somehow gets the upper hand because of what happened with Weasel. If you guys remember, Weasel kind of had felt a bond between him and the princess because the princess was playing with him for hours, kind of reminding him of those little kids that he tried to protect. And to his eyes, he thought, okay, I need to protect the princess because if I fail this time, I'm never going to come back from this. He failed the first time. If you saw the Weasel episode, he failed to save those kids who were being nice to him, a creature like him, that, a lot of people will be like, oh, just shoot this thing, get rid of it. Those kids treated him like, like normal, and they played with him, and he felt the same way about the princess doing the same thing with him. So he felt he had to protect her by jumping in the water, and we all know Weasel can't swim, kind of warning her, and then she was able to see Nina in the water, and the two of them kind of have a struggle, and of course the princess kills Nina. Nina's dead. So, yeah. Spoiler alert. I thought that stuff was very, very good to see all that, drama unfold. Not only seeing Nina's backstory, but kind of going full circle, how she has to become her own person and try to, do what she needs to do. Because she's always been the shy one, She's very shy. She's very, self-conscious about herself. So she has to try to figure out a way to, help the team and complete her mission. Fortunately, it doesn't work, and then she dies. We also get to see Frank try to hook up with the bride. Doesn't work. He gets shot, sent out a window, so that was pretty funny. And then, of course, the end of the episode shows the bride talking to the princess and be like, yeah, you really are evil, aren't you? And she kind of figured it out that she was working with Clayface to trick Amanda Waller and to, averting each other. We all found out it was lies, but it really wasn't lies. Because apparently Cersei said, oh yeah, she's evil, she's going to destroy the world. We weren't really sure if that was true or not. Looks like it really was true, but we never really got to see that here, but it doesn't matter anymore now because the bride literally just put a bullet in her head and ended it because she was upset. She didn't care about, oh yeah, you're going to end up taking over the world one day. I don't care about that. You can kill many people you want. You killed my only friend. That was powerful. I thought that part was very powerful because the bride who's been, she had the doctor at one point. They were like lovers at one point. Frank is the ultimate stalker. So, she has that problem. But then she had one friend who, at first, she started off like, okay, you're annoying me. Leave me alone. I'm the tough, strong one. And then they kind of formed a bond because most of the episodes were just the two of them getting closer, and she considered her a friend, and Nina felt the same way. And then she died, and then now the bride got pretty pissed off about it, and she's just like, you know what, you killed my friend, you die, boom, done. And then of course it ends where the bride gets a new team, pretty much the same team, mostly. Obviously it's her, the doctor, Weasel, G.I. Robot's back with a new look, so I thought that was pretty cool. A bat chick lady and a mummy looking dude. Now, I'm pretty sure that's the Creature Commandos from the comics, the second edition, so that was pretty cool. And there's an Easter egg. It's in the after credit here. Really much nothing. It's just Frank being himself, hanging out with an old lady, eating soup. So that was pretty cool. So overall, This show was fantastic. I really enjoyed this show. It really solidifies what James Gunn's vision for the new DC universe is, showing off all these characters, you know, kind of giving us backstories, but not giving us backstories enough where it's like, okay, you got to take a whole episode just to explain this one character's backstory. No, he splits it up into, you know, sections. I don't know if he's going to do this more, you know, moving forward, but what he was able to do with this season was, okay, episode 1, we're going to talk about the bride, her backstory. A little bit here, and then we're going to go to Frank. A little bit here, and then we're going to go to the doctor. Then we're going to go a little bit of Weasel, you know. And then, you know, you'll be able to put the pieces together as the show goes on. But it was also blending the actual story that they were trying to, you know, do with their mission. So I thought that stuff really blended really well. He really knew how to tell their stories really right away without actually, you know, focusing too much on just their backstories. You know, he blended it really, really well with the actual story that he was actually trying to tell. So I enjoy that. I love the little Easter eggs we got throughout this show about other characters we're going to see in this main new DC universe. Because remember, this is connected to the new Superman movie. Live action and animation are going to blend really well with each other. And I cannot wait to see these guys live action. Everybody who's voicing these guys in Creature Commandos will play them live action. Yes, included David Harper, who's the only actor right now active playing in Marvel and in DC. So that's awesome. What else? Yeah, like I said, I really loved how everybody was, you know, relatable. We all liked their characters. You know, yeah, sure. Even Frank, you can be like, am I gonna get bored of his stick of like, oh, I'm in love with the bride and she hates me? I didn't felt that way. Maybe you did, but I did not felt that way. I thought it was very funny. It wasn't used as much because we only saw Frank a couple of times in here. Now, if he puts Frank in the next season, you know, Frankenstein in the next season a lot more, and we get that stick, then it becomes kind of, all right, get over it. Let's move on from this, you know, kind of repetitive stuff. But, you know, it really was not that bad. It really worked. It was funny when it had to be funny. And then, you know, it moved on. You know, it went to other jokes that worked. We got to see other DC characters in here as well. We got to see our first look at Batman. Now remember, we may saw a silhouette of him. Does not mean that we got Batman yet. Well, technically, Batman does exist already. He already exists. So Batman's coming sometime soon. So that's going to be great. And no, it's not Robert Pattinson. Got Clayface. So Clayface exists in this universe. Apparently they're making a Clayface movie coming soon, but I'm not sure if that's connected to this or Outside World or Elseworld or Matt Reeves' universe. Who knows? But that was cool. They talked about other, you know, DC cities like Metropolis, Central City, Starling City, you know, homes of the Flash, Green Arrow, and all the others. So that was cool. Bloodhaven was also mentioned in this episode. We got he had the mention of Themyscira, which is the island of Wonder Woman, and Amazonians. So very good start to the new DC. Can it live up with the rest of it, including Superman? We have to wait and see. But so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Hey, listen, if it ends up failing, turn everything animation. Make everything animation then. Because it totally works in animation. So, yeah, we have to wait and see. But overall, I enjoyed it. I'm excited to see more. I'm really excited to see what James Gunn's going to do with this entire universe as a whole. We got to play in this playground for a little bit. Very fun, but the grand opening hasn't started yet until July. So that's going to be the real, like, grand opening. Hopefully, if it's a success, we're good to go. Now, remember, success meaning as critics and fans must like it, doesn't mean it has to make so much money. It would be nice, but it doesn't have to make so much money to get people back into watching DC again, because DC right now is in a position where they're not really healthy, so they need to be fixed. But with this plus Penguin, DC starting to get back on track. Even though Penguin's is outside thing, but you know what I mean. Just the brand of DC is starting to get a little bit more less tainted. So we'll see what happens. So leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Are you guys looking forward to finishing Creature Commandos? Didn't start it yet. Not gonna watch it because you don't care about DC. Leave me a comment below. Let me know. Stay tuned for more. Thank you very much, and have a good day.